We're live. Welcome to the Special Finance Committee meeting of October 24th. It's 3:05, depending on what clock you use, 3:05 p.m. Call the meeting to order and stand for the pledge. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. So, all committee members are here. Number one, approval of agenda.
I'll move the agenda.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
I assume there was no change. Is there any public comment, anybody? We're being overwhelmed lately, okay. Minutes, did you have any changes to the minutes?
I did not.
Okay, motion to approve minutes,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Brings us to the meat and potatoes. Review of proposals for auditing services. Item number 4. Who is going to take this?
So, staff was directed in May of this year to get quotes for audit. Last year was the board extended the audit for one more year and wanted to get quotes. So here before you are the quotes that we've received. We sent out 41, was it? Yes. 41 requests for RFP and we received 5. And these are the 5. There's a spreadsheet which kind of summarizes everything. As the auditors work for the board, staff isn't in a position to make recommendations. We just present the facts, and this is also going to the board meeting tomorrow night, so that the board can determine how they'd like to proceed with the selection process. And we're hoping that the finance committee can make a recommendation.
Well, so I reviewed it, I read it once, but I don't know anybody except our current auditor. Did you have any opinions on these? There's a lot of...
I did not. I looked through it and I looked at the spreadsheet that was put together, and it's like CJ Brown and Company is worked well for us in the past, and they came in with the lowest proposal. Is that correct?
Yes, they did.
And-
Well, not quite the lowest. Harsh Wall and
Oh,
Company
that's right.
came
Yes,
in
yes, I did look
a
at
couple
this.
$100 less.
Yeah.
But there's increases over
Yeah,
the next 5 years,
I did
so,
a total of all 5 years.
yeah, so in total, yes, they are the least expensive.
I haven't worked with them, but I did watch them present the budget, or the audit last time, and it seemed to go smooth and seemed like staff was happy with it.
I assume staff has no complaints on the last few years?
No, it's actually been a good firm to work with. They're familiar with the district. They know where to find the information to get the files and everything. They do bring in new people every year, a different team. So it's not the same people over and over. But from everything that I've been reported back to, it's been a good experience.
I think the board has a comfort level with them. And every 6th year, they have to change the bylaw. They have to change who their representative is for us. And we've done that. I think we have 4 more years on that based on my calculations. And so they'll do that again the 4th year. And they'll change the managing partner who's representing us in compliance with state law.
And the size of the audit team, they have 4 people come in, and that's always been plenty, no problems with that.
Yeah, they usually have 2 or 3 that come into the office, and then The other ones are working from their office. And actually during COVID, we did all of it remotely, and it worked out really well. And so we continue to do that for some of the things remotely that we didn't used to do in the past, and it works out really well. We have a pretty, they've worked with us on Gatsby 68, which is one of the big issues that has kind of had some problems implementing over the past several years, and they have, one of the members of their team has done a really great job of putting together a template for that David's used, and we feel pretty comfortable with that. And do you have any comments on this, David?
Not yet. The main thing was, the Gatsby 68 entries, they've helped us out a lot in developing that entry for the pension liability.
One of the other things too, is you're looking at the spreadsheet, you'll see they have 180 hours in, that they have in for the audit. And while that last one, started off less expensive, they're looking at 119 hours. That's kind of a significant difference in the amount of time they're committing to the project for the price, so.
So staff's recommendation is to,
Staff is not at liberty to make a recommendation.
not
Yeah.
at liberty to make a recommendation, is that
Well,
right?
We can't recommend who the board chooses, but staff is satisfied with the service we've received in the past.
Yes.
Well, so do you have a suggestion?
I would recommend we stay with CJ Brown and Company since they're familiar with what we've had, and we are familiar with them and okay with the work that they've performed.
I'm fine with that too. I haven't heard any complaints from anybody, and the presentations are fine, so that would be the committee's recommendation to the board.
Okay. And as far as the selection process, would you recommend that the board bring in a couple people to interview, or are you comfortable with just making the selection based on our knowledge of this firm?
That's what I would recommend.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And the agenda item at tomorrow's board meeting does allow action on this, so if you choose to make that recommendation to the board, they can choose to select the firm at that time.
So there can be action for this agenda item tomorrow night. Yeah, I don't see why we shouldn't just
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
keep who we have. We've won awards every year for the last, 5 years, so. And I
9.
saw in your, 9 is it? And I saw you expect to win it, to also get the award this year.
Yes, we do.
I saw that. It caught my eye. So, that's fine.
What is it that they say it's a clean audit, or what's that term that they use?
They say that there were no reportable
Yeah.
reportable items.
Yeah, we have no reportable items about this
Okay.
auditor.
Now you sound like the attorney after
Yeah.
closed session.
Hiring the auditors is kind of like hiring an attorney or hiring a general manager, so that's why it's a little awkward for the staff to make a recommendation. We can only tell you our experiences with them. So-
Yeah, and so over the last few years, we haven't had any issues. They fall into the area of cost that basically, most of the
They're
other firms
very-
are, so.
Very thorough.
Okay, so I guess that would be the recommendation for the board tomorrow. To
Agreed.
keep CJ Brown. Anything else on this item?
No, sir.
Okay, item 5 is review of disbursements. That's way in the back, isn't it? Pardon me?
Page 225.
Yeah, it's way in the back. Did you have any questions about the disbursements?
I do not. Nope.
Everything looked expensive to me, but that's just me.
They look expensive to me also.
Did staff have any comments about it?
No comments from staff.
No comments. All right, so since we reviewed it and had no further comments, we'll be finished with this item. A review of quarterly financials. Item 6. That is page 242, correct?
Yes. So, the district is 50% through the year as of December 31st, which is what these financial statements reflect. The operational revenue is below the estimated budget year-to-date by about 4%, mostly due to water consumption being down. The operational expenses are below the estimated budget, as some of the anticipated expenses have not happened yet. For example, repair and maintenance, which is a big part of the reason why the expenses are down. They're below estimated budget by about $200,000, and that's because staff has been spending an inordinate amount of time working on getting the meters installed, the new meters
Installation
installed.
of meters.
And so instead of maybe working on service line replacements, they're working on that, and that's a capital project, so it isn't reflected in the expense report, so that's why it appears that it's down. But once they're finished, which should be probably this month,
I think they had 60 or so meters.
250 to go.
250? I thought it was lower. Okay. So
so
it'll
we're
take
very,
about a
very
month?
close, and it's gonna be, beneficial to the district, customer service wise, in every way, shape, and form. So we're looking forward to the completion of that. But so the next quarterly statement should reflect more normalized expenses, catching up from that.
Okay.
The net operational income is about $108,000 below the estimated year-to-date budget, and that's because of water consumption being down. The non-operational revenue is higher than budgeted by about $540,000 due to meter installations and favorable interest income being higher than budgeted. The non-operational expense is favorable year-to-date by about $350,000 due to the timing of some of the expenses, and mostly due to the Chromium 6 expense, which is a placeholder in the budget, which is diverted to cover the CIP projects for the Chromium 6. And the net income is favorable by about $886,000 to date. Actually, $450,000-ish if you remove the Chromium 6 placeholder. So did either of you have any questions about the revenue and expense?
Do you have any questions?
No questions?
So water consumption is lower than, I thought I saw the last month it was just about the same.
Yeah, water consumption typically in the last part of the year, because the winter months, is going to be lower
Yeah,
than
it
when you
is,
get into the
it is
spring.
much lower, but if I
Yeah.
remember right, when I looked at the staff report, the revenues were pretty much in line with what these months give. It didn't seem to be substantially
Yeah,
lower.
it's not a surprise.
Yeah. It's just that they haven't come in. The use is not here yet.
You should say the water consumption for this time of year would be probably a better way of putting it.
Yeah.
The balance sheet, I don't know if you saw anything on there that you had any questions on.
Do you have any questions on the balance sheet? see if I had any marks written down. I don't believe so. No?
You can see that we've made some loan payments when you look at the liability, long-term liability section. You can see we made a couple, some loan payments this year. And purchased a vehicle, a truck.
Was that within budget? Was that budgeted
It was,
properly?
it was within budget, yes. That was brought to the board and
Yeah. Are things like workers' comp going up?
yes. We budgeted for that though, yes.
Because I've been reading where all kinds of insurances are going up through the roof.
All of our insurances, we took a big hit on all of them this year. And Kim was able to do a lot with reorganization of our health benefits, which have helped the employees as well as the district as far as costs are concerned. And then the workers' comp, we have programs in place, and we've just had a couple hits, but generally speaking, the rates have just gone up.
They're just steadily going up, yeah. And are they going up as you anticipated?
Pretty much, it's my understanding. I mean, are you familiar with anything?
Last year was the biggest one that it went up, and SCRMA said, because we shopped, got initial quotes, and they said that everybody will eventually catch up to them because they're just ahead in the regulatory environment of everything that's going on. And of course, everything is so much more expensive now whenever a workers' comp claim is administered. Medical bills, everything, so.
But it's pretty well in line with what we budgeted.
Yeah, it is in line with what we budgeted, especially
That's all
this
we can
coming
do.
year. Yeah. And Sean and I went through all of our property in detail and reevaluated the replacement costs of a lot of the items, and we were able to get the property liability down from what it initially was gonna be, but there's only so much we can do.
So when, assuming eventually some of the dairy property is sold, will that reduce costs?
Not really, because the land doesn't have a very high.
Well, but there's
The
liability
liability
on
portion
the
will go
dairy.
down,
Yeah, a little bit, but that's not a big dollar amount
It's
for
not
us.
that much.
Yeah, and we're still gonna insure certain assets on there, obviously, the well fields,
The solar.
the pertinences to
solar
that, then the solar.
Property,
Yeah.
the carve out. And then I think we have the wells, a couple of the wells.
We can get that line item amount for what the dairy costs us.
But I mean, there had to be liability. Who, does the containers, does the container guy
They're required
pay,
to carry.
pay the insurances on that?
Yeah, they have insurances.
But the district would still be in the mix if somebody got hurt.
Ours is
They
more
would-
of a general liability kind of thing, and
Okay.
theirs is definitely more specific to their,
Okay,
Circle Green as well. They have their own.
Yeah, so technically, Circle Green is subleasing to the container company, but we have a license agreement with the container company.
But
So,
they both carry their own insurance policies, which carry the brunt of the liability.
yeah, that was, we,
Yeah.
have to stipulate that all the time, so. Okay, did you have any, so where are we, revenue expense consolidated?
Yes, and this is the same thing as what we just went over. It's just in a little different format. You can see the percentages that we were talking about, or that I was talking about. And,
So there's no glaring red flags that you see,
no, it's pretty well what we expected.
what you anticipated?
The differences are what we, the
Time
meter
of year.
installation impact and the consumption impact to the revenues, but that's, this time of year, it's very typical, so.
Has there been a visible outcome on the meter readings compared to the older meters?
As far as the time it
As
takes
far as
down?
accuracy,
Oh, yes, tremendous, yeah. In fact,
in a positive or negative way to the district, that would be
in
my
a
follow-up question.
well, in a positive way, in several regards, actually. One of the things that's come of this is, they're more accurate, so some people have noticed their bills go up because they were under reading before.
That's what I was
Yes.
wondering,
And,
if there was a greater percentage that were under reading versus over reading.
So they have,
Yes.
yeah, so that now they have an incentive to fix their leaks. And so there's been a lot of activity with people working to fix their leaks, which has been really great.
Yeah, and the unaccounted for water, it's gonna take some time to see what the changes look like with that. But almost every one of the meters they're pulling out has some sort of leak from the bottom seal.
Oh,
they
really,
just-
it's dripping underneath?
Yeah, dripping
Which you
underneath.
can't see.
Sometimes more than a drip,
And-
Oh.
and that's
and it's not metered.
unaccountable. Yeah, it's
So-
not metered, it's on.
It's before it gets to the other end
Yeah.
of the meter.
Yeah, it never makes it through the meter. So, and the call-outs too are substantially less than what we were having before.
Would it be possible, once all of them are in, to kind of put that together and make a presentation to the board sometime, once all the meters are in, and, maybe an estimate of what percentage of water loss to the system that has been
Absolutely.
eliminated?
We can do that because we report to the state on our
Yeah.
water losses. We're required to
Yeah.
do that. So we have that data. It's going to take a little bit of time, once they're all
Well, that's why
done.
I'm saying,
Right.
following all the meter installations.
I think an
Yeah.
overview of the entire process, once we're complete with it, and then we'll, standing by for the results for some of that, but we can say, 70% of them were leaking. We don't have this now.
I would like to have that so that it's at a board meeting and it's available to the public. I don't know whether anybody will. look at it,
Probably
but-
June or July would be a good
Yeah,
time for
yeah.
that.
Once we get these done and put it together, I think that's a good idea.
'Cause it's gonna take a little while for it to.
No, I
the
said, I
results to
mean, the
show,
meters
yeah.
are, you're still a month or so out, so, and then you need to be able to quantify any changes.
Mm-hmm.
Whether water loss
full
drops
year will be-
a percent, you'll know that, so.
How small can the leak be before the meter detects it and then let a customer know?
And these meters, extremely small.
Yeah, these
Extremely
are probably, I would say probably a gallon an hour, and it would show.
Wow. Good.
I definitely would show on that, maybe even less than that.
Yeah, we had some that we were really surprised they.
It would actually tick,
Well,
it
what
would
it does
show
is
a-
it shows continuous usage.
yeah.
And, so, I mean, no matter what, in the middle of the night, they're still showing a little bit of flow. And so that's
So
indicative of a leak.
somebody's toilet was running.
Jiggle the handle.
Yeah.
Possibly, or, yeah, it could be anything.
With the meters that we had before, there were people that were definitely gaming the system, because when those meters were out, the accuracy, it basically slows down, it doesn't register some of the water at very low flows that go through there. And so there were a lot of comments from some of the people in the community about, put your drip system on really slow, and it's not going to register.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
So
interesting.
this will avoid that type of situation
That's
now.
interesting. Wow, they
Yeah,
were
so we're
that,
ca-
they
we're
were
catching
that
up with-
inaccurate, huh?
Meters do wear out. The nutating disc meters, it's a mechanical meter.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
when it's something flipping back and forth, it wears out and it doesn't take
Well,
a,
that was always the important thing about sand in the system,
Mm-hmm.
because that's, and any oxygen,
Mm-hmm.
bubbles and stuff, because that corrodes like sand does. And so all of the meters were mechanical, and then any propellers or anything would wear out and start.
yeah. And
show.
those were brass too. The brass is not what it used to be. When
No,
they
it's
came out with
not.
all the no lead requirements.
It's no lead brass.
The new meters now are plastic. And it took a while for us to be able to digest that, because we're used to, the plastic's gonna get brittle, it's going to break, it's going to freeze. Staff put those through every test you could possibly, they froze them to see if they could get them to break, and it wasn't possible.
Nice.
So 10
And
years.
it's not moving parts, it's sensors now.
Yeah, and
It's-
they're saying at 15 to 20 years, it should be like 99 point some percentage accuracy.
Accuracy still, because we replaced all the meters when the district started, within a couple of years.
Yeah,
And that costs a lot, and then here we are
Doing it
replacing
again.
it again, so
Yeah.
hopefully,
we saved a lot of money the first time around as far as the amount of time for meter reading and everything. But the meters that we ended up with didn't have a great life expectancy. You know, it's 10 years is what the typical meter is
Yeah.
rated to last. We had problems right from the very beginning with,
I
with
imagine some of
those.
the county meters you took out were highly inaccurate. Probably been in
Some
there
of them were
forever, yeah.
25 years old.
Yeah.
They never changed them out.
okay, yeah, so I think maybe, once the verdict is in and the staff has been able to look at, the results of the meter changes, maybe a review in front of the board in the future would be a good thing. Okay, so we were on revenue to expense consolidated. Was there anything further with that?
No, unless there were any questions.
Did you have any questions about being in the red or being in the black? Or okay, statement of cash flows.
There was nothing there that is out of the ordinary.
And each of the divisions is listed here.
You have any questions on
Any
that?
questions on it? No? The month-end aging report.
It's typical for this time of year.
Nothing unusual.
You see, most of it's current, $534,000 of it is current, and then the rest is stretched out over the first 3 months and some into 4 months plus.
It's actually lower, isn't it, than, it seems like it's a little bit lower than just a couple of years ago.
Well, yeah, then a couple of years ago, absolutely, because
We were like
we weren't
hundreds
shutting
of
people- we weren't
thousands of
shutting people-
dollars.
We weren't shutting people off then,
Yeah,
but during the COVID.
yeah, it was a
pandemic.
lot.
Yeah. But, we had, the current amount includes the new rate, so that current amount is a little bit higher than normal, but our past due stuff is in really good shape. And of course, after we shut people off, then it goes to lien and those sorts of things, so our position is secured.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Any other? Open payable report? Did you
Nothing
have any
unusual now.
comments or questions on that?
It's all current, nothing significantly past due.
No? It's just thick, that's all.
Yep.
Project balance report. These are the projects that were meter installation, should be finished pretty soon.
Yes, and the rest of these are kind of ongoing. Well, number 15's wrapping up as well, so.
The mountain well is finished, I believe, correct, or just about?
I believe it's just about finished, if
Yeah.
not complete.
Did you have any questions or comments on our various projects and costs? Okay. Solar project. and credits report.
We're looking pretty good here on this, so that's good. We're a little behind the eight ball on the, the receipts for, the solar credits for up through December. We'll be getting, those credits kind of tend to lag behind a little bit.
Okay, so that's no longer in the red,
Right?
and that's good. It took a few years. Did you have any questions or comments? Okay, that's positive. Cash investment report. So we have quite a list here.
David's doing a great job of handling our investments, and you can see there's a nice range of dates in here. So,
It's laddered nicely.
yes, they're laddered out nicely.
Yeah, that's, cash is king.
It is, it's so nice that we're finally able to receive some investment money.
I mean, to have millions and millions of dollars and receive $38,000 in a year or whatever it was.
Yeah, it was really pathetic there for a few years.
0.5%.
Well, actually, the first 10 years of the district, right?
Yeah, it was like, I think it got down to 0.2 at one point, but. Yeah, these are, should help with the cash flow. Any questions or comments? It looks good to me. All right. And the final page here is the press release.
Yes, the board's reviewed this and it's been released, right, Kim?
Yeah.
And then unless there's any changes that you would like to see as a finance committee. But we'll be bringing this with us, to the next the next few finance committees, you'll see this just so you'll know.
So it will be the budget,
Yeah.
draft budget
It's a
reviews.
the budget schedule, yes.
Okay, I think it's all been adjusted accordingly. We had a few adjustments, but
Yep, still looks good.
And all the committees are discussing CIPs and any budgetary items that they need to make sure are in the budget for the year as we speak.
so we did it in the engineering, but then there were gonna be some changes, and then it's coming back again, and then that will be completed, and hopefully the other committees are likewise doing any adjustments. Okay,
We did a pretty thorough vetting of the CIP stuff when we were doing the rate study, and that was just a few months ago, so
Yeah.
we should be in pretty good shape.
yeah, no,
There's been some changes for sure, but always, I don't care how close you are, it seems like
It
there's always
never
changes.
fails. 2 months after your rate study, something else, like, oh.
there's always something. Okay, so that was 8, 9, item 9, committee comments. Did you have any comments?
No comments today.
Okay, thank you for the proposal was very thorough for, for the, for the auditor,
Yeah,
so.
we used the one that we had fine-tuned in prior years and just updated it. David did a good job of getting those updated and getting them out for us, so that was awesome.
Again, I mentioned, I really liked the comment, we expect to receive the awards again, so put them on notice.
Not an option.
Now they're in the hot seat.
Okay, item 10, review of action items, prior meeting, did we have any?
There were none.
And current meeting?
Yes, you would like to see a presentation to the board on the new meters sometime in the future when there's some data.
When the new meters have been placed, yes.
I'm gonna get with Sean and we'll schedule that for,
Yeah, this summer
Whenever-
sometime.
whenever's
when-
appropriate,
When
yeah.
you get a handle on the results, that's the key. Okay,
we'll keep an eye on it. so.
yeah. All right, so item 11, setting the agenda for the next regular meeting. It will be adjusted, I assume, because it will be mostly, well, the next regular meeting is April 16th.
Correct. We have a special finance on March 19th, and that's regarding the budget. But as far as the regular
Okay.
meeting,
This says April 16th, Finance Committee review final budget draft.
that will be on there, so we'll have to add that to the regular meeting agenda. But we're also going to have a special finance meeting on March 19th.
March 19th, yes. That's the first review.
Correct.
Yeah, okay. All right, anything further? Anything further from staff and general manager? Anything further from the public? No comment. Means it was an excellent job. With that, we will adjourn at 3:41. Thank you, everybody.
No news is good news, right?